It looks like the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have officially declared war, not with some quiet statement, but with a full-throated takedown of a new royal book, labeling its most explosive claims a deranged conspiracy. A spokesperson for Harry and Meghan has come out swinging against author Tom Bower, whose upcoming book, Betrayal, is already sending shockwaves through the monarchy before it even hits shelves. We're breaking down their furious response, the bombshell allegations that sparked it, and what this new fight means for the entire House of Windsor. It all kicked off when a series of staggering claims were serialized in the press, painting a dark and deeply personal picture of the royal rift. This isn't just another critical book. The Sussexes are framing this as a direct assault, and their response is unlike anything we've really seen before. The man at the center of this firestorm is Tom Bower, a veteran investigative journalist known for his deeply researched and often scathing biographies. His 2022 book, Revenge, was a bestseller that detailed the early fractures between the Sussexes and the royal family. Now he's back with a sequel of sorts, titled Betrayal, Power, Deceit, and the Fight for the Future of the Royal Family, and excerpts published in the Times have set the stage for an all-out media war. In an unusually forceful and direct statement, a spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle didn't just deny the claims, they went straight for the author himself. Their statement reads, "Mr. Bower's commentary has long crossed the line from criticism into fixation. This is someone who has publicly stated, the monarchy in fact depends on actually obliterating the Sussexes from our state of life, language that speaks for itself." The spokesperson continued, leveling a serious charge against Bower's entire approach. He has made a career out of constructing ever more elaborate theories about people he does not know and has never met. Those interested in facts will look elsewhere. Those seeking deranged conspiracy and melodrama know exactly where to find him. That phrase, deranged conspiracy, is a clear line in the sand. It's a dismissal not just of the book's content, but of the author's credibility. By using Bower's own past statement about obliterating the Sussexes against him, their camp is painting him as a biased actor with a long-standing agenda, not an objective journalist. This is a high-stakes strategy. Instead of getting into the weeds and fighting each claim one by one, they're trying to discredit the entire source. It's a move that tells the public the book is so far from the truth it doesn't even deserve a specific rebuttal. But the claims Bower makes are incredibly specific, and they strike right at the heart of the family conflict. So, what are these allegations that provoked such a fiery response? According to the excerpts of Betrayal, the tensions go way deeper and started much earlier than many people believed. One of the most stunning claims centers on Queen Camilla. Bower alleges that as Harry's behavior began to change, reportedly ignoring old friends and even changing his phone number without telling his family, Queen Camilla confided a shocking assessment to a friend. According to Bower, she said, "Meghan's brainwashed Harry." That single quote, if true, is devastating. It suggests the highest levels of the royal family saw Meghan not just as a difficult newcomer, but as a manipulative force actively turning their son and brother against them. Bower writes that the jovial lad about town became possessed by seeking revenge, and that his character began to mirror Meghan's, with simple dislikes escalating into passionate hatred. The book also claims that the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, shared this deep concern. Long before the Oprah interview or the Netflix series, they allegedly saw Meghan as a threat and a divisive agent. Bower revisits William's now famous warning to Harry before their engagement, where he supposedly cautioned that the relationship was moving too fast. In Bower's telling, this wasn't just brotherly advice. It was a sign of a fundamental clash of cultures and personalities that the Waleses felt posed a danger to the family. They didn't see an ally in Meghan. They saw someone who, according to Bower, was more focused on her own ambitions, lamenting that Harry had a slim chance of ever becoming king and that she, therefore, could never be queen. These claims paint a picture of a family that believed it was under siege from within. It shifts the narrative from two brothers just drifting apart to a belief inside palace walls that one of them was being deliberately pulled away by a wife they fundamentally distrusted. It's a portrait of paranoia and suspicion, where family members felt they were losing Harry to an outside influence they couldn't control. Perhaps the most cinematic and damaging allegation in the book details the complete implosion of the Fab Four. The idea of William, Kate, Harry, and Meghan as a modern new force for the monarchy was a powerful one, but Bauer claims it shattered in a single, ugly confrontation. According to Betrayal, a peace summit was arranged at Kensington Palace shortly after Harry and Meghan returned from their honeymoon in 2018. The goal was to clear the air, but instead of a reconciliation, the meeting reportedly spiraled out of control. Bauer alleges that during a heated exchange, Prince William was speaking to Meghan, maybe pointing his finger to emphasize a point, when Meghan allegedly snapped at the future king. Her supposed words were blunt and shocking. "If you don't mind, get your finger out of my face." The impact, Bauer describes, was immediate and catastrophic. The meeting that was supposed to heal wounds instead tore them wide open. The image of Meghan speaking with such sharp disrespect to her brother-in-law, the heir to the throne, is one that would be almost impossible to walk back from. It's the perfect example of that culture clash everyone talks about, a clash between American directness and the hierarchical, deferential norms of the British monarchy. This alleged moment is presented as the point of no return. It moved the conflict from quiet anxieties into open, face-to-face hostility. If Bauer's sources are correct, it explains the icy distance that would later define the relationship between the two couples. It was no longer about misunderstandings. It was about a perceived lack of respect that, within the palace, was unforgivable. That one sentence encapsulates the— Before we get into how this firestorm is now engulfing even Prince Harry's most cherished project and the official response from that organization, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. This story is moving fast, and you won't want to miss our breakdowns as more details emerge. The controversy doesn't just stop at personal family drama. Bauer's book also takes aim at one of Prince Harry's signature achievements, the Invictus Games. What began as a universally praised initiative for wounded, injured, and sick service personnel has, according to Bauer, become compromised. Betrayal alleges that the focus of the games has shifted away from the competitors and onto the Sussexes themselves. Bauer claims the event has devolved into the Harry and Meghan show, a platform for the couple to polish their brand rather than highlight the veteran stories. He cites a former head of the Invictus Foundation, Dominic Reed, who allegedly worried that Meghan was a distraction and describes her presence as bling, not rehabilitation. The book even claims organizers resorted to crowd padding to make attendance look better for the cameras, suggesting public interest wasn't as high as portrayed. Bauer's accusation is that Meghan, in particular, used the games as a global stage for personal gain. This is a particularly painful line of attack because the Invictus Games are so personal to Harry. It's his most celebrated contribution, tied directly to his own military service. To suggest it's been co-opted for celebrity purposes is to question his core mission. However, on this point, there has been a swift and powerful rebuttal, not from the Sussexes, but from the Invictus Games Foundation itself. In a statement, a spokesperson for the foundation called it disappointing to see attention given to commentary that seems driven by a long-established agenda rather than a genuine understanding of the Invictus Games. They continued, attempts to question the legitimacy of competitors or diminish the experience of those living with both physical injuries and invisible wounds, such as PTSD, are deeply disrespectful to the men and women the games were created for. The focus should remain where it belongs, on the courage, recovery, and camaraderie of those who have served. Now that is a huge deal. The Invictus Foundation is publicly defending its patron and, by extension, his wife, while condemning Bauer's narrative. They are essentially accusing the author of disrespecting veterans just to score points against Harry and Meghan. This adds a crucial layer to the story, creating a direct clash between Bauer's sources and the official leadership of the very organization in question. Beyond the immediate drama, Bauer's book tries to frame the Sussexes' current situation as one of growing desperation and fear. A central theme is Prince Harry's alleged terror over his and his children's future status. Bauer claims that Harry was profoundly shocked by the downfall of his uncle, Prince Andrew, following the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. The speed with which Andrew was stripped of his titles and essentially banished from public life was, according to the book, a brutal wake-up call for Harry. This event allegedly stoked a deep-seated fear that a future King William, who has a famously rigid view of the monarchy's reputation, could do the same to him. Bower writes, rightly, Harry fears that the future King William could remove all the Sussexes' titles and effectively banish him from Britain. This paints a picture of Harry not as a defiant prince forging his own path, but as a man haunted by the potential consequences of his actions. The alleged fear is that the security of his children, Archie and Lilibet, and their royal lineage, rests in the hands of a brother with whom he is permanently alienated. Bower questions whether Meghan fully grasps the potential fallout of antagonizing the Prince and Princess of Wales, suggesting they are playing a dangerous game with their family's future. This narrative of anxiety is compounded by what Bower presents as a series of professional setbacks. He touches on the end of their lucrative Spotify contract, struggles at the Archewell Foundation, and questions around their Netflix deal. The disastrous public reception of a 2025 visit to a California wildfire site, widely panned as a tone-deaf photo op, is also mentioned as evidence of their declining PR savvy. Altogether, Bower's book argues that the Sussexes aren't thriving post-royalty, but are instead facing dwindling finances and a growing sense of isolation, all while fearing payback from the family they left behind. It's a bleak portrait of a gamble that, in Bower's opinion, has not paid off. The release of these excerpts has kicked off a fascinating three-way dynamic: the Sussexes' very loud condemnation, Bower's self-defense, and the royal family's deafening silence. Each response, or lack thereof, is a strategic move. The Sussexes' strategy, as we've seen, is to attack the messenger. By branding Bower a man with a fixation who creates deranged conspiracy, they're trying to poison the well before anyone even reads the book. They aren't saying, this specific thing is untrue. They're saying, the man making these claims is not credible. This avoids a point-by-point debate, which would only generate more headlines for each allegation. Sources close to the Duchess have reportedly suggested in the past that she believes authors like Bower ultimately fail to damage a brand's long-term standing and that engaging only fuels the fire. Tom Bower, for his part, has already hit back. Responding to the Sussexes' use of his quote about obliterating them, he defended his words. He clarified to the Mirror that his comment was in the context of Meghan's outrageous racism allegations on Oprah. He said his use of obliterate was a wish for permanent silence from a couple he believes continues to exploit their relationship for their personal and financial gain. He's not backing down, standing by his reporting, and framing his work as holding the couple accountable. And then there's the third player, Buckingham Palace. Their response has been absolute silence. On behalf of King Charles and Queen Camilla, the palace has declined to comment. Likewise, nothing from Kensington Palace on behalf of Prince William and Princess Kate. This is the classic palace playbook. Never complain, never explain. To comment would be to elevate the book and get dragged into a public fight. Their silence implies the whole thing is beneath them, positioning the monarchy as remaining above the fray while Harry and Meghan are, once again, embroiled in a public conflict.